Welcome back, explorers. My name is Packer and welcome back to another Faker1 video. In today's video I've created a compilation of Pokemon I've created this year. So without further ado, let's get into this video. In this segment I created new Pokemon by changing one letter of existing Pokemon. Now for my first Pokemon, I've decided to redesign Snorlax by changing its name to Snorlux. Lux meaning light. It will be a water electric type that floats on the ocean to generate electricity, like a tidal generator. First I'll start with its head. I'll give it a scuba suit like hood with lightning shaped eyes and a mouth. Its body will carry on the scuba motif before transitioning into having 4 layers of folded skin, with the last made to look like a life ring. Its legs will continue the scuba design, even having flipper shaped feet. Its arms will have arm rings with an electric pattern on it. Now introducing Snorlax, the tidal power Pokemon. A water electric type with the abilities Thick Fat, Galvanize and hidden ability Gluttony. Snorlax spend a lot of their time at sea, floating on the waves while asleep. They achieve buoyancy with high concentrations of blubber in its arms and lower torso. While floating on the waves, folds in their skin rub together, causing friction, which generates electricity. When they wash up on land, they will awake to use this electricity to power themselves when they run inland at immense speeds. They will gorge themselves into a coma near a river, where they will float back out to sea. This Pokemon came out amazingly. I would enjoy a playthrough with Snorlax on my team. Now, onto my second Pokemon. I'll be redesigning Leavanny into Revanny, a Pokemon forced to adapt into a industrialized environment. First, I'll start with its head. It'll be slightly bigger with antennae shaped like motorcycle handlebars. Its head will be wearing pieces of asphalt for protection. Its body and limbs wear recycled clothing, such as a leather jacket and jeans. Its arms have turned into pick blades, used to cut up asphalt. On its lower body, it has attached a bigger piece of asphalt. On its hip, it will have a helmet attached as well, with a Swaddle inside, also wearing asphalt. Now, introducing Revanny, the roadside Pokemon, a bug rock type with the abilities Swarm, Friend Guard and hidden ability Overcoat. Revanny has adapted better than was thought possible in a urban landscape. Its blade arms have developed a metallic sturdiness as a result of cutting up discarded textiles and asphalt roads for protection. It carries around a Swaddle on its hip, as Swaddle is incapable of making it on its own in this environment. This Pokemon is great conceptually, but could use some reformatting regarding the clothing. This is the first time I believe a Pokemon has clothing, so it was quite hard to make it look normal. Maybe in the future I'll redesign it with more raggedy clothing. Now, onto my third Pokemon. I'll be recreating Abomasnow into Abomasnot. It'll be a disgusting looking Pokemon covered in snot, as I think it'll be funny if a pine tree was suffering with allergies. First, I'll start with its head. I'll give it unique eyebrows as well as a pointy topped head. Its eyes will look irritated and it will have a pine needle beard that looks like tufts of fur. Its body will be made of wood and its arms will be positioned with one pointing to the sky and the other reaching out to touch you. Finally, I'll add mucus pouring out of its nose onto its body, as well as covering its hands in mucus to make it look like it's been wiping its snot down its body. Introducing Abomasnot, the hay fever Pokemon, the grass poison type with the abilities Soundproof, Sticky Hold, and new hidden ability, Nasal Irrigation, which increases its speed and accuracy when hit with a water-type move. Abomasnot is in a constant irritated state, as its body produces a ton of mucus due to being allergic to Mother Nature. It can secrete enough mucus to create 5 life-sized models of muck an hour. It will seek out and attack water-type Pokemon, so they will attack back, clearing its sinuses for a certain amount of time. I wouldn't mind having this Pokemon on my team, but if it was real life, I would avoid it at all costs. Now, onto my fourth and final Pokemon. I'll be creating Dusk Noir into Musk Noir, a perfume Pokemon. I'll start with its head. I'll give it one big eye with golden eyeshadow on a purple face. It will have 8 horns like fragrance strips. Its body and arms will be covered in a deep magenta colour with golden bands. Its hands will have fingers shaped like perfume bottle heads. Finally, a perfume vapor will be worn fashionably, such as sleeve ends, a scarf, and a cape. Now introducing Musk Noir, the fragrance Pokemon, a ghost fairy type with the abilities Pressure and Keen Eye. Musk Noir frequently haunt old perfume shops and the homes of elderly women in search of fragrances to love. They don't mean any harm and quite enjoy the company of people who smell nice. They can memorize up to 24 fragrances that they can replicate at will. Perfume merchants catch old Musk Noir to see if they have any old forgotten colognes and perfumes that would be good to sell. This Pokemon was the first one I created this year, and doesn't really look like a variant of Dusk Noir, but could be a convergent form possible. In this segment, I created Pokemon by fusing together existing Pokemon into mythological creatures. For my first Pokemon, I'll be fusing together Mudsdale and Machamp to create a Centaur Pokemon. Centaurs are from Greek mythology. It is best described as a man with its lower body of a horse. So for my design, I'll have a Machamp torso, arms and head on top of a Mudsdale body. The upper arms of Machamp will be made of the mane of Mudsdale. All 4 arms will have hardened clay studs, especially on its knuckles. I'll take the belt attribute from Machamp and add bands to the legs and waist of Mudsdale. And finally, I'll redesign its tail. Now introducing Mudchamp, the Centaur Pokemon, from Mudsdale and Machamp, a fighting ground type with the abilities Guts, Stamina, and hidden ability No Guard. Mudchamp are very volatile Pokemon that strengthen their bond via combat. A group of Mudchamp is called a militia, as they execute precise military tactics with a nomadic tribal twist. When a leader is needed to be elected, they will gallop for hours in a circle to compact ground into a pit arena. This Pokemon turned out great. The combined pose of the Machamp and Mudsdale is very dynamic. Now onto my second Pokemon. I'll be fusing together a female Pyroar and Braviary to create a Griffin Pokemon. I'll be fusing a female Pyroar as its mane will benefit the design more, in my opinion. Griffins are also from ancient Greek mythology and are described as a beastly lion with the features of an eagle, such as wings, a beak, and talons on the front legs. I'll start with Pyroar's body. I'll add a beak with a Braviary crest of feathers. The female Pyroar's mane will remain, but become slightly frizzy. I'll give it wings, and the front legs have become the talons of Braviary. Its back legs have been topped with feathers, and its tail also has feathers applied, so this Pokemon is more aerodynamic. Now, introducing Braviroar, the Griffin Pokemon from Braviary and Pyroar, a fly normal type with the abilities Rivalry, Defiant, and hidden ability Moxie. Braviroar's favourite habitat is grassland cliff plateaus, as they enjoy climbing, running, and jumping off the great heights to begin flying. These Pokemon can only be tamed by strong, noble trainers, being seemingly allergic to any ounce of malice. This Pokemon turned out great as well. Its colours scheme suits it very well as well. Now, onto my third Pokemon, I'll be fusing together Hatterene and Feraligatr into the non-mainstream legend called the Cuca, which is said to be a witch with the head of a crocodile. It comes from Spanish and Portuguese folklore and would come at night to kidnap disobedient children. I'll start with Feraligatr's body. His head spikes will be mixed with Hatterene's hat limb. Hatterene's hair envelops Feraligatr's body, all the way down to its legs. In various areas I'll add orbs, 2 to each arm, 1 on the side of its body, 1 at the base of its tail, and 1 on each leg. And finally, its eye will be a mix of the 2 Pokemon. Now introducing Feralene, the Cuca Pokemon, from Feraligatr and Hatterene. A water fairy type with the abilities Healer, Torrent, and hidden ability Magic Bounce. Feralenes like to visit people and Pokemon at night. If you don't provide it with food, it will cause harm specific to the individual it decides to torment. If someone has good hearing, they will shriek loudly until they get tinnitus, being one of its methods. This Pokemon is almost great too, but I think the hat could use some improvements. Now onto my fourth and final Pokemon. I'll be fusing together Copperajah and Luminion into another non-mainstream creature known as the Gajamina. It is a fish with the head of an elephant and comes from Indonesian Hindu culture. I chose Luminion to fuse with Copperajah as it has big fins that can be also seen as big elephant ears. I'll start with Copperajah's body and get rid of its legs. I'll add the Luminion fins with markings that are a hybrid of these two Pokemon. I'll round off its body and give it a tail that looks like its fins with similar markings. I'll add bands to its trunk from Luminion as well as some extra pectoral fins, also from Luminion. Now introducing Lumiraja, the Gajamina Pokemon from Luminion and Copperajah, a steel water type with the abilities Sheer Force, Water Veil and hidden ability Heavy Metal. Lumiraja live in the open ocean and dive to deep depths to harden the metal in its body. They accomplish this by drumming on its own body with its trunk while singing songs in mighty schools of this Pokemon. This is a very weird Pokemon, but I could still see it having a decent sized fanbase if something like it existed in the franchise. In this segment, I created Pokemon for my Somnium region. For my first Pokemon, I'll be creating a Kookaburra Pokemon with the sound type and introduced in my region. I'll start with its head. I'll give it a round eye with a zigzag shape underneath it, so it looks like an upside down music note. It will have a giant beak and a pair of Pokeball headphones on top of a fluffy haircut. Its arms will have stripes like the lines in sheet music, and one of them is holding a MP3 player. And finally, I'll give its tail some unique plumage. Now introducing MP Thorough, the headphones Pokemon from MP3 and Kookaburra, a flying sound type with the abilities Inner Focus and Own Tempo. The government in the Somnium region are responsible for creating the MP3 player this Pokemon uses. This is because if MP Thorough isn't stimulated in some auditory way, it will begin to laugh like a lunatic. MP Thorogh's laugh is the loudest Pokemon sound known to science. This is why they are provided with devices so people can live peacefully alongside this Pokemon. This Pokemon turned out very well. I believe it to be the closest I've got so far to doing Sugimori style. Now onto my next Pokemon. I'll be evolving MP Thorough into a bird with a breakdancer motif. So I'll start with its head. I'll give it a more serious facial expression with an eye with different spots to represent a different type of music note. Its hairstyle has evolved into a fluffy hoodie with pockets and music-shaped strings. It will carry around a boombox on its shoulder. Its arms are once again striped, like the lines of street music, and its tail is adorned with a pattern that resembles yet another music note. Now, introducing Kookaboom, the breakdancer Pokemon from Kookaburra and Boombox, a flying type with the abilities Inner Focus, Own Tempo, and new hidden ability Pendulum, which transfers status conditions to the opposite Pokemon on the field. Kookaboom are notorious for their breakdancing abilities that they use in battle. They use the momentum of their moves to generate sound and gusts of wind. The boombox they carry around helps inspire the ferocity of their moves. This Pokemon turned out great as well, and I think it would be a fan favourite. Now onto my third Pokemon. I'll be creating a rock-type cat Pokemon. Its head will have ears like that of spearheads. Its face will have a blank expression with its mouth open. Its body will have spots and the arched back and a frizzy tail, like it's ready for a fight. And finally, I'll give it a dulled yellow and blue colouring. Now, introducing Flinton, the Flint Pokemon from Flint and Kitten. A rock ground type Pokemon with the abilities Keen Eye, Unburdened, and hidden ability Rough Skin. Flinton are very hard to read as their face and body tell a different story. Its face has a blank, unintimidating expression, but its body looks like it's ready to defend itself from a corner. The people brave enough to reach out to stroke Flinton and not get attacked are met with an abrasive rock-feeling fur, which is not nice to the touch. Flinton is the oldest cat Pokemon known to science. Now onto my fourth and final Pokemon, the evolution of Flinton. I'll be evolving it into a saber-tooth counterpart to Mamoswine. As they are from the Ice Age, you'd think I'd make it a Ice type, but I'm going to keep it a ground type as I believe it's a good type to represent an ancient Pokemon that is not a fossil and has survived to the modern day. So I'll start with its head. It will have a strong feline resemblance of course, and locked-in eyes with stone saber teeth. Its body will have a strong masculine frame with stalagmite protrusions coming out the top of its spine and legs. And finally, some horizontal stripes to represent sedimentary layers. Now, introducing Stalagon, the saber-tooth Pokemon from Stalagmite and Smilodon, the Latin name for saber-tooth. A rock ground type with the abilities Keen Eye, Unburden, and hidden ability Rough Skin. Stalagon and its pre-evolution Flinton only exist in this part of the world, and are exceptionally rare. They hibernate in limestone caves, and the constant drips of water shape the stalagmites on its back. In legend, there is a cave where thousands of Stalagon had gathered. Caving almost caused the extinction of this species, if it weren't for individual Stalagon living out a solitary existence. I like this Pokemon, but something about it doesn't look Super Mario style. I may redesign it in the future. In this segment, I created Pokemon by evolving the Gen 10 starter Pokemon. For my first Pokemon, I'll be evolving Brout, which I looked up extinct birds for, with eyebrows, and came across a bird called the Black-browed Babbler from Indonesia. The trailer for Pokemon Wind and Waves showed a tropical archipelago, so this fits quite well. There is an interesting species of bird in Indonesia, known for its unique dancing and appearance, which has diversified it into many other species, and they are called the Birds of Paradise. The Elliott's Bird of Paradise is an extinct hybrid of this bird, so I'll base the final design off of that, but I need a decent transition Pokemon. Now, for my first Pokemon design, I'll be creating a chubby tap dancing bird. I'll give it a bulbous head with a bud coming out of the top. It will have slightly bigger eyebrows and beak with a friendly expression and a line that implies a double chin. A round body will have 3 vines which represent 2 suspenders and a belt. We'll have a bulb with 2 leaves to represent a bow tie, 2 ordinary wings, as well as 2 purple legs that have 2 feet like tap dancing shoes. Now, introducing Taparo, the tap dancer Pokemon from Tap Dance and Sparrow, a pure grass type with the abilities Overgrowth and Own Tempo. Taparo love to tap their feet rhythmically, with or without music. They can tap the ground at different frequencies, which allows them to retrieve berries from trees without flying, using vibrations. This Pokemon turned out great. I'm glad I came up with this idea of a tap dancing bird that gets berries instead of worms, as it fits so well. Now, onto Brout's final evolution. I'll give it a long, more slender body with half crescent wings. It will have longer eyebrows and beak than its Prevo. A vine with a orchid wrapped around its neck has also been added, as well as purple legs with thick black feet. And finally, a long vine tail with orchids and buds. The orchids are based off the black orchid, which is also from Indonesia. Now, introduce the Riborkid, the ribbon dancing Pokemon from Ribbon and Orchid, a grass flying type with the abilities Overgrow, Own Tempo, and hidden ability Long Reach. Riborkid have a very unique dance that they practice endlessly in hopes of attracting a mate. When a lot of rivals gather in one place, they do battle in the sky, causing a spectacle known as Sky Meadow to occur. I like how this Pokemon turned out, although I do feel like it is missing something. Now, on to the next Pokemon I'll be evolving. Pombon, the fire-type Pomeranian. There are 2 dogs in real life that look like an evolution of a Pomeranian, and they are the Chow Chow and Tibetan Mastiff. The Pokemon I have in mind for this evolution line is a farm dog like the Tibetan Mastiff. So let's create a Chow Chow mid-stage as a transition. First, I'll start with its head. I'll give it a double-layered fringe with floppy ears and peaked hairdo. Its muzzle will have a nose and a tongue sticking out, as well as spiky mutton chops. Its body will have 2 tufts of fur sticking out its chest, a tail that curls and rests on top of its body, and tufts of fur sticking out the back of its front legs. Now, introducing Chow Chow, the Chow Chow Pokemon from Chow Chow and Char, a pure fire type with the abilities Blaze and Fur Coat. Chow Chow are an excellent choice for farmers who want to defend their crops and flocks of Marip and Wooloo. They have an easygoing temperament which can flip like a switch when they start working. Pombon's haircut reminds me of Zora's, so I wanted to reference a wolf-like origin in its design. Now onto the next Pokemon. I'll once again start with its head and give it serious locked-in eyes, small ears and a big fierce afro mane that Tibetan Mastiffs have. Its body will have a spiked chest plate and a spiked hip brace, both made of metal. I'll give it some generic legs and a tail with red tips that stands upright. Now, introducing Helder, the herd dog Pokemon from Hell and Wilder, a fire steel type with the abilities Blaze, Fur Coat, and hidden ability Iron Barbs. Helder are renowned for being the best at defending livestock. They take scrap farm metal and weld it onto themselves as armour to defend herds of Tauros and Miltank from Lipid, Ursaring and Lycanroc. Although hard to command, they will always do the right thing. I enjoyed how this Pokemon turned out as well. Giving it Conquistador hunting dog armour really finished it off as well. Now onto the third and final star called Gekwa, a water-type crested gecko with eyelashes giving it a feminine appearance. Water-type stars are known for being based off of weapons. The unconventional weapon is venom itself, so I'll create a evolution line that becomes more toxic. For Gekwa's first evolution, I'll give it a slightly different head shape, with lips, spiky eyelashes and spots that look like tape to hold a broken nose together. Its eyes look like a sludge wave, and its head sits on top of a round body with an unusual belly pattern. Pose its arms and legs in a way to make it look like it's ready for a fight while also being relaxed. It will look like it has knee-high socks as well as a tail with 3 spots. Now introducing Shikwa, the liquid gecko Pokemon from Sheik and Aqua, a pure water type with the abilities Torrent and Liquid Ooze. Shikwa live in marshes and jungles. They consume terrible tasting foods, which then in turn makes their mucus they secrete taste horrible. This is so they deter predators from attacking them. When that doesn't work, they will swiftly, with little moves, neutralize any threat. This design turned out great and will serve as a good position for its final stage. Now, for my final Pokemon, I'll be creating a venomous Diva Lizard that looks as toxic as its personality. I'll give it a rounder head than the Prevo, with spiked eyelashes coated in venom, and venomous tear ducts that make it look like it's blushing. Its mouth will have lipstick and some venomous saliva. Its body makes it look like it's wearing a swimsuit, and its limbs have a speckled effect on them. The arms are positioned in a confident, domineering way with venomous claws. Its tail looks like a sack with bones on it, as well as venom ducts leaking mucus. Now, introducing Gekoxin, the toxic gecko Pokemon. From Gecko and Toxin, a water poison type with the abilities Torrent, Liquid Ooze, and hidden ability Poison Point. Gekoxin are known as the Queen of Waterways, being a creature that demands respect from all the Pokemon in its domain. To not get attacked by Gekoxin, you must show submission by bowing your head onto the top of the hand that Gekoxin reaches out to you. You then must provide this Pokemon with some food to finally be accepted. Out of the 6 designs, I believe this is best, as I believe it to be something that Game Freak would create. In this segment, I've designed Pokemon for Easter. Now, for my first Pokemon, I'll be creating a Easter variant for Chansey. For Chansey, I'd like to turn it into a chick that is halfway hatching from a colourful egg. So I'll start with an egg-shaped silhouette. I'll give it a friendly expression with an orange beak, as well as fluffy tufts of hair either side of its head. For its body, it's wearing a striped eggshell with pink, blue and orange colouring. On its belly, it will once again it will be carrying around an egg on its stomach, which is also decorated with colour. As for its legs and arms, they are bursting from its shell. Now, introducing Chansey, the Easter chick Pokemon, a fairy flying type with the abilities Natural Cure, Serene Grace, and hidden ability Healer. Variant of Chansey loves to decorate its shell once a year, especially the egg it carries around in its pouch. It will seek out Smeargle and Grafaiai to create a unique pattern that will set them apart from the rest of its flock. I enjoyed how this Pokemon turned out. Maybe I'll evolve it next Easter. Now, onto my second Pokemon. I'll be creating an Easter version of Hatterene. In Scandinavia, they have a Easter tradition, sort of like a second trick-or-treat, where children will dress up as witches in old raggedy clothing and exchange cards and drawings for sweets. So I'll start with its head. It will have a picnic blanket as a haircut. Its face will have beady eyes and pink cheek. Its body will look like it's mostly made of a burlap sack material, with some other fabrics used to stitch up any holes. The scarf will be coiled around its body, and finally its pointy hat arm will be carrying around a basket. Now introducing Hatterene, the Easter Witch Pokemon, a fairy normal type with the abilities Healer, Anticipation, and hidden ability Magic Bounce. Hatterene are esteemed guests in the region they are from, due to their friendly nature and the fact that once a year they bring their arts and crafts to a village of their choosing to exchange its gifts for food. It is said the better the food you give a Hatterene, the better luck you will have in the oncoming year. This Pokemon also turned out great. It's the second time I've created a Pokemon using fabric, but this time it turned out better, so quite the improvement. Now onto my third Pokemon. I'll be creating an Easter variant of Bronzong. In France, instead of a Easter bunny, they have a Easter bell that gives out chocolate eggs when returning from being blessed in Rome. I'll start with a bell silhouette that bows out at the bottom. I'll give it a unique trim pan at the bottom and towards the top. Its face will look like Bronzong's but more distinct. Its arms are almost wing-like and it is topped with a unique handle. Introducing Bronzong, the Easter Bell Pokemon, a steel fairy type with the abilities Levitate, Heatproof, and hidden ability Heavy Metal. Bronzong live in village ruins where other Pokemon take refuge. They go on long excursions for up to a month at a time to bring back a hoard of berries to disperse among the Pokemon it comes across. In Kalos, it condenses its philanthropic nature to one part of the year. This Pokemon would have turned out well, but it looks like it's meant to be part of a Valentine's Day video. I'll be creating the original Easter-inspired Pokemon from an English staple food for this time of year, the hot cross bun. I originally wanted to do a hot cross bun variant of Dash Bun, but thought it would look too similar. So I've decided to combine the hot cross bun, a different dog, the Bulldog. I'll start with its round head. I'll give it buns for ears, and its muzzle is also a giant flat bun. Its body will be stocky, and throughout the design, I've scattered sultanas and have placed the notorious crosses found on hot cross buns. Now introducing Bundog, the hot cross bun Pokemon from Bun and Bulldog, a pure fairy type with the abilities Well-Baked Body and hidden ability Aroma Veil. Bundog are loyal house pets desired for their caring nature towards children and their ability to make a house smell like a bakery. They are so loved that they are the main focal point of parades and gala during the spring. This Pokemon turned out quite well. I think I prefer it over Dash Bun. Thank you for watching this video. Please like, subscribe and comment any suggestions for future videos, and let me know your favourite design, as it helps me out a lot. And as always, farewell for now.